Calibrating cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
Testing. Hey, what's going on, y'all? And welcome to another edition of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Theobold Studios, where we do it ourselves, aka Do It Yourself Productions. Before I go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tell a friend to tell a friend, and do all that fun internet stuff, like the old people say. Internet. Yeah, also, as y'all can see below, if you're not already doing so, follow me, give me a follow. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. So, as you guys know how we do over here in Trippin with Theobold land, we gotta get with these tongue twisties. All right, so you can either read along with me, or you can watch me struggle. The choice is yours. You always have a choice over here in Trippin with Theobold land. So here we go. Let's get to it. Okay, here we are. Here we go. All right, boom. Shelly Sherman shivered in a sheer short shirt. She's shivering, huh? In a sheer shirt. Shelly Sherman shivered in a sheer short shirt. I like this one because it just rolls. Shelly Sherman shivered in a sheer short shirt. I like that one. Number 2. Here we go. Silly Sally sings songs about her senses. Silly Sally sings songs about her senses. Silly Sally sings songs about her senses. That's very silly. Silly Sally. Dilly-dallying. All right. Last one. Here we go. Okay, all this Shelly Sherman shivering shit. I mean, I can't cuss shit, can I? Yes, I can, because I'm past the 2-minute mark. Yay! Here we go. Shelly Sherman shivered in Shelly Sherman shivered in her sheer shawl in the shady shelter. That sounds kind of sad. You know, she in a shelter, shivering in a sheer shawl. Shelly Sherman shivered in her sheer shawl in the shady shelter. One more again. Shelly Sherman shivered in her sheer shawl in the shady shelter. And yay, tongue twisters are done. Got those out the way. Now we can get on at the topic at hand. So, I already know if people see this video, what they gonna say. In particular, the black community, I already know what they're gonna say, but it is what it is. All right. Yeah, we gotta talk about this Caitlin Hatin. All right. So, where should I start, man? So, basically, what's going on right now is, any black man who says anything positive about Caitlin Clark is looked at as a coon. Right? Like, if you say anything positive about Caitlin Clark, they're going to have your ass in a meme driving Miss Caitlin, or like Steven from Django holding on to his massa, And to me, that's silly, To me, this shit is funny. Right? As y'all may or may not have known, I lived in Iowa for 7 years. So, I was following Caitlin Clark like 2 years ago, before all this shit even like popped off. Right? I was keeping up with her, because she was doing some phenomenal shit in college. you know? And I lived in Iowa. I know the people in Iowa don't have a lot to really cheer for other than football when it's football season. So to me, it was a good look for Iowa. You know, it was good that they had something to cheer for, you know? But here's the part that to me is funny, you know? When Caitlin Clark was busting ass in college, right? All the black folk, all the black dudes was like, hey man, that girl Caitlin, man, hey, I ain't got nothing against her, man. That girl, hey man, she can get, man, that white girl can play. Man, that white girl can just play. Man, hey man, you gotta give it to her, man. That white girl can play. Right? Then the moment she get to the WNBA and it's stinking it up, it's they hyping this white girl up. All you niggas out here that is out here caping for Caitlin, you know, y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. We are all these black women in the WNBA that's been hooping, and now you want to pay attention. I'm like, man, shut up. Shut up. Oh man, they couldn't wait for Caitlin to get to the WNBA and start stinking it up. This shit is hilarious, man. And the thing that's funny is they act like Caitlin Clark didn't do nothing in college. That's the shit that's hilarious. Like they act like her getting all this star shine, quote unquote, preferential treatment is unwarranted. They act like it's just some white girl they picked out. And they just said, hey, you know what? We're going to pick her. It's like, nah, motherfucker, let's look, as you know me over here, I like to take a look at the numbers. I like to look at the receipts. All right. So let's pull this shit up right quick. All right. All right. And no shade to Angel Reese. I love all them, man. You know, but we going to look at this. We going to look at the numbers. All right. Let's take a look at the fucking numbers, yo. Cause this shit is hilarious to me. Like, I'm not even passionate about it. I'm just like, man, this shit is it's just funny. How people get so wrapped up in their feelings that they just don't even look at the data, you know? All right, so here we go. So let me see if I can get this shit the way I want it. Okay. Excuse me. I don't want it like that. That's kind of messy. Where am I at? See, new movie recording. Got that up there. Okay, let's take a look at the numbers, man. So you look at all this shit in college, they act like Caitlin didn't do shit. Look at this shit. All these awards. Two John Wooden awards. I don't even know what a Wade Trophy is, you know? 4-time WBCA Coaches All-American. 3-time Nancy Lieberman Award. 3-time Dawn Staley Award. Big Ten Female Athlete of the Year, 2023. Three-time Big Ten Tournament. I don't know what MOP is. 3-time NCAA scoring leader. 3 times, 2021, 22, and 24. 3-time season assist leader from 2022 through 2024. Her number got retired. Like, look at all the shit she did. So if anything, she deserves everything she's getting right now. I'm not trying to like cape for the chick, but I'm like, look, I mean, this shit, you got to scroll through this shit for all the awards she won. And not just that. Right? And not just that. Right? This is the shit right here. Most points in Division I history, men and women. She broke Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record with 3,685 points. So you can't act like she ain't do nothing. All right, and people are like, oh, well, she didn't win the national championship. She didn't do this. So what? Man, look at all the shit she did. That's a lot of shit. That's a lot of shit. So stuff, man. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm back. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. So, am I a fan? Like in college, I was rooting for her, but right now, like WNBA, here's the thing, right? I'm a fan of the women as a whole playing professional basketball. I'm not a fan of the WNBA, but I am a fan of all the women collectively playing basketball. You know? So let's do a little juxtaposition, okay? Like, to me, in my opinion, this is no different. Or if anything, what was worse than this was when LeBron came out of high school. Right? When LeBron came out of high school, yeah, he was dominating. He was doing stuff. You know, he was killing it. But they only like televised like a few of his high school games. But then it was like based off of that, we were supposed to believe this dude was better than Jordan. Right then and there. Right? And they were hyping him up all year. You know? So all year long, we wanted to see what the hype was about when he came into the league. And we saw what it was about. And, you know, the hype was warranted. You know? Now, he wasn't better than Mike. I can tell you that shit for right now. But the hype was warranted. Right? So to me, Caitlyn did more on a bigger scale. Like I said, comparatively, right? She did more on a national scale than LeBron did in high school, right? As she should have, because college basketball is ranked higher or more televised than high school basketball, but we didn't see anything. It's like people are acting like Caitlyn played in some remote league or played on some team that no one knew about, that never got televised, and we never seen her before, and they just threw her out there. It's like, no, she demonstrated for like 2-3 years. For 2 to 3 years, she demonstrated that she's like the best female college basketball player. And you could argue maybe even of all time. I'm not going to say all that. I don't know. But I mean, I wouldn't be mad if someone said that based on the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like I said, I'm not gonna act like she ain't do shit. A lot of people are acting like she ain't do shit in college, and that shit is terrible, right? Like, that's just like, I don't even waste my time arguing with niggas like that. When people act like they're like, oh man, well, she didn't win the championship. Well, look at all. Okay, whatever. If that's how you want to look at shit, look at it that way, you know? Now, I will say this, right? Her stats for the WNBA have been boo-boo. I'm not gonna lie about that. Now, if her stats continue to be boo-boo and she finishes out the year with boo-boo stats, then next year there should be no hype on Caitlyn. I'll put it to you. I'll put it to you just like that. Right? Like, you get 1 year to show to demonstrate why you are at where you're at. Right? Now next year, if she comes out and they're still hyping her up, doing all this shit, okay. Now I'm like, okay, the media got to chill on that because she ain't did shit in the WNBA. You know what I mean? But if she's coming out of college doing what she did, the shit should be hyped. I'm sorry, it just is. Like, if you own the WNBA, you want this because this is how you're gonna make money. This is how you're gonna protect your bottom line. You know? Fuck black and white. It's about money. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. That's all I'm going to say about the Caitlin Clark thing, right? So, yeah, so I actually want to see what she's doing. Let me actually see what her stats are. Let me see. WNBA. Caitlin Clark stats. Let's see what this says. And her numbers aren't like that bad. I mean, I'm not saying. Let me see WNBA rankings. Let me see WNBA. That's what I want to see. WNBA stat rankings for 2024. Okay, here we go. Boom. Let me actually pull this up so y'all can see. Right? 'Cause I like to be fair. right? I like to be unbiased. You know, sorry, that's just, I can't sit up here and be up here lying to niggas and shit and looking stupid. I can't do that, you know? So here we go. iPhone, here we go. All right, so in points, so the leading scoring or leading points, it's Wilson, Ogunbowale, Cooper, Collier, Hamby. Let's see the complete leaders. Right, so Caitlin Clark is 15th right now in scoring. Right, she's averaging 32.6 minutes a game. Yeah, she's only putting up 16 points a game, so she's okay. So she's like, is that complete? Or is that, I'm not sure if this is the complete. Oh no, here we go. To qualify, a player must be on pace to play 24 games or score 480 points. Okay, so this is not of the whole league, but of the people that are eligible. She's in the top half of scoring, okay, but not the top. All right, she's 15th in scoring. In assists, let's see. Okay, in assists, she's 4th in assists. Okay, 4th in assists, and she's 4th in 3-pointers made. Looks like Caitlin don't play no defense though. Let's see what her defensive stats are. So rebounds. So for her rebounds, she's 29th in rebounds. Yeah, she don't be hitting the glass like that. Angel Reese is top 5 in defense. Okay. And then in blocks, okay, she's 20th in blocks, which isn't, I mean, that's, her thing isn't defense, her thing is offense. And then steals. Okay, Angel Reese is top 5 in 2 categories. Okay, so Angel Reese has her in the statistical category. She's top 5 in 2. She's top 5 in 2 categories. Where Caitlin Clark's top 5 in 1. And let's see. Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever. Yeah, she's not even on this list. Oh no, she is. She's number 8. Okay, she's 18th. So she's not like terrible. Like she's not like an Olawokandi, or she's not like a Greg Oden. I mean, Greg Oden was injury prone, but she's not a bust, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like Caitlin Clark is not a bust. Now she's not doing what she was doing in college. You know, she might start doing it. Who knows? But to keep it a buck, if she's doing this like next year, there should be no reason for her to be in the media like she is now. But there's a reason for her to, like, I'm sorry, but with what she did in college, she deserves all the accolades she's getting right now, you know? So people can call me a coon. They can say I'm driving Miss Caitlin. I don't give a shit. I'm just speaking truth to power. I'm looking at the numbers, you know? But what else, man? I was going to say something else about, so yeah, I wanted to actually get into, WNBA strategies, right? So if whoever runs the WNBA, whoever is the owner or whatever it is, they need to listen to me because I got all the answers you need. All right. So the problem with the WNBA is there's a lot of problems with the WNBA, right? The first major problem with the WNBA is they're under the NBA, right? They're subsidized by the NBA, and as a result, whatever money they make, they have to give the NBA a cut of. So their first major move should be to get the fuck out from underneath the NBA and make their own money. That's the first thing they should do, right? Because You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know, you can't get a subsidy to create a league and then complain about how come you're not making the same amount of money that the NBA players are making. It's like, well, first you got to make your own money. And they're not making their own money right now. They're underneath the NBA. So that's the first thing. They got to separate and they have to form their own identity, right? Like WNBA is always going to sound like junior varsity. Even if the players are great, right? The WNBA sounds like the junior varsity to varsity. That's what it sounds like. Just the name in and of itself. You know, so that's the first thing they have to do is break away, form their own identity. Second thing is like the way the teams are marketed and just how they're trying to they're doing too much piggybacking. You know, like you have the Washington Mystics, right? It's like the sister team of the Washington Wizards. People don't even watch the Wizards because the Wizards are trash. You know what I'm saying? So why would you want to be a little sister to a bum team like that? You know what I'm saying? So thinking outside the box, if I was a WNBA, I would look to grow my markets in smaller cities that are looking for entertainment. You know, like for example, all my teams would be like, I would have teams in Montana, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota. I would have teams all across the Middle Earth, because if you had teams in Middle Earth, you would see those people come out and watch that shit, because they'd be like, yo, this is our shit. Like when you look at the Iowa Hawkeyes, right? When you look at that football program, man, them people out there love them Hawkeyes, man. Like they'll get up and cancel their whole day for that, right? So you could sell out games and have the shit now ticket prices might not be that high, but you could make the shit packed to where you could make the shit look interesting, you know? Because that's what you want to do. You want to create a spectacle, right? So that's what I would do. Number two, I would go to all the I wouldn't try to have a team in Washington DC or LA. I wouldn't do none of that shit. All my teams would be outskirt teams. Like if you're going to have a team in California, I would say have a team out in Redlands, California, you know, or have a team out in Lake Forest, California. You know what I'm saying? Have the teams spread out in different cities where people don't even know where they at. So when people go, it's like, oh, this is because all these other big sports franchises, they grew. A lot of the names of the cities are known because the team was there. Like, for example, Jacksonville, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars. Are they a great team? No, but that's a bad example because I don't think they really support Jacksonville like that for other reasons. But I don't know. I think if you go to these small Middle Earth cities with the WNBA teams, I think you would get a huge turnout. I think you would get crazy turnouts for those games. And then you would have they would have their own fan base. You know, that's what I would do. What else are my notes here for? What other notes do I have? So yeah, the whole thing with the parallel teams and parallel color names. Nah, form your own identity. That's the first thing the WNBA has to do. The number two is they have to identify their core audience and cater to that audience, right? So for example, the NBA didn't just have cheerleaders out the blue. They said, hey, you know what? Guys are at the games. They want to take a break at looking at all these dudes. Let's throw some women out there to go and dance around. And, therefore you got cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? So WNBA, to me, having cheerleaders, to me, might not be the best solution for them, you know? So just imagine if you had all these teams in the smaller Middle Earth cities of the nation or of the country, you would have to do some kind of entertainment that is applicable to what they do, right? It might be something stupid. It might be you might have hacky sack competitions or hacky sack. I don't know. I'm just making up stuff, right? Or you might have I don't know what kind of stuff they do. I mean, I know what kind of stuff they do in the Midwest, but And just different areas where all I'm saying is that cheerleading just seems like taboo, you know? And from what I've heard, from what is reported, not just my conjecture, but from what I heard and what's been reported, the majority of the WNBA is I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there because I want to get in trouble. You know, it's the wrong month. Well, I don't even date these podcasts, so you wouldn't even know what month it is. But I don't know. It's like, to me, it's like you have to look at what types of people are coming to your games, and then you have to cater to those audiences. So to me, having a cheerleading squad for the audiences that they garner might not be the best solution, right? So what else? I wish that the WNBA formed, or I wish they broke off and had their own identity before the Caitlyn and Angel narrative, because I feel like it's parallel to the Magic Johnson and Larry Bird narrative, you know? Because if you look at the history of the NBA, Magic and Larry Bird was a huge part of why the NBA is what it is right now. It was a huge stepping stone. Without Larry and Magic, the NBA would be light years behind where it is now. So to me, it's like, I wish that so I think they have to keep the Angel versus Caitlyn narrative, you know, for ticket sales and all that. But I wish that they had their own identity and the teams were in remote places in the country to where, you know, it became its own thing, you know? And then the final thing, my final note for the WNBA is, they have to, I don't know what it is, but I like watching women's college basketball more than I like watching men's college basketball. 'Cause I feel like with women's college basketball, it's just more like the fundamentals are just so much more crisp, you know? And, I don't know what it is, but I just like watching women's college basketball more than I like watching the men's. But here's what they need to do with the WNBA, right? Is they need to look at what the NBA doesn't do and do that, right? Like, for example, since most women don't dunk or they don't dunk regularly, they need to do what the NBA doesn't do, right? So they need to like allow hand checks, right? Because in NBA, you can't hand check. So they need to actually, what would be dope is if the WNBA adopted the 80s style of basketball from the NBA, right? Like hand checks, hard fouls, and stricter traveling violations. To me, if they focused on that, people I think would tune in more, because look, people are already talking now, man. People like right now, like niggas in the NBA be traveling, you know, and they be like, there's channels and videos of people showing people like how they done doctored up the rules to where you can not just Euro step, but now you can put your hand under the ball, you can palm the ball. It's like people are traveling now. Like the way people handle the ball now, they handled the ball the way they did back then, or back in the 80s or 90s or whatever. It'll be a travel, you know? So I think the WNBA needs to focus on what the NBA doesn't do and then do that. Because here's the thing, right? Right now we're watching the European version of basketball right now. This is not American basketball that we're watching. This is European basketball that we're watching, right? It's still the NBA, but it's the European version of the NBA, or it's the European version of professional basketball. A lot of people like 80s, 90s basketball. So to me, they need to bring back, I think the WNBA can focus on, I think they could actually, anything the NBA fans are complaining about, the WNBA needs to focus on that and say, okay, since they're not doing that, we need to do this. Then I had one other thing I was going to say too. Oh, the one thing I was going to say too about Caitlin Clark, man, is, or just with the WNBA in general, that's not, I'm not going to say it's not fair, but it's definitely something you have to consider, right? Caitlin Clark played for the NCAA championship in April. She got drafted in May. The season started in May, right? That shit is crazy, right? Not just for her, but for any sport. That's crazy, right? That's crazy for anybody, you know? Because if you think about it, in the NFL, players get drafted, in April, and then they report to minicamp, but the season doesn't start till September, right? So they got May, June, July, August. They got like 4 months to get ready to even go play. Caitlin had like a couple weeks, if that, you know? So to expect her to go from college and then to go dominate in the WNBA, to me, that's crazy, you know? But still, I'm just keeping it a buck. I'm keeping it fair. If she's putting up the numbers she's putting up now, which, I mean, like I said, she's solid, but it's not stellar. But if she's putting up these same numbers in the WNBA next year that she's putting up now, there's no need to hype her anymore. They need to go ahead and chill. Just just cool, you know? But yeah, so anyways, that's my little spiel on all this Caitlin hating and the WNBA. Like I said, I hope that, you know, it grow, like I hope that their sport continues to grow. I think that, to me, like I said, I like watching the NCAA. I like watching the college women's more than I like watching the college men's. But they have to really sit down and figure out how they're going to be unique and how they're going to be different. Right? That's the problem. Right now, they're just like, oh, we got girls who like to play basketball, so we should have a league too. Hey, NBA, give us some money so we can have a league. Okay, we got some money. Here's your money. Here's your league. Hey, how come we're not making much money as you guys are making? We need to be, our best players should be making as much as LeBron. Nah, chill. Nah. Okay, cool. Get your own shit. Go over there, do your own shit, and build your own shit, you know? Now, we can help you build it, but to me, that's what I'm saying. So right now, I think the biggest move, I would say, within the next 5 years, the WNBA needs to break away completely, form a new identity, get rid of them teams and all the cities they have. Just get rid of all that shit. You know what I'm saying? They need to become, you know, the women's I call it the WBA, right? Or the WBL, the Women's Basketball League, right? Or the PWBL, right? Something that just call it something different, but nothing NBA in it. That's the first thing they need to do. And then when they do that, they need to go to they need to have teams in the Middle Earth cities of the country, right? Like teams in Nebraska, you know, Montana, North Dakota, populate that shit. North Dakota, South Dakota, attack those places because you got people there with towns that will come out and they will support. But of course you got to find cities that have at least like 20, 30,000 people in it. You don't want to, maybe 50,000 people at least, you know, so you can, you know, build that up. Anywho, it's not my league. Those are just my suggestions. That's my take on stuff. So before I go any further, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun internet stuff like the old people say. AT is where it's at on most forms of social media. Follow me. And with all that being said, ba-deep. I'm out of here, folks. Peace. Yep. Trippin' with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin'. Yep. Trippin'. Trippin'. Trippin' with Theobold.
Trippin' with Theobold.